Hello everyone and welcome to the Dick Campbell Gymnasium for the Final Four of the Consolation bracket. I'm Chris McQuade, alongside me Luca DeSanto. Both these teams looking to punch their ticket to the final after bouncing back from that first round loss. And Luca, tell us a little bit about both these teams.
Well, both these teams were upset in the first round. Glenbard West losing to Nazareth.
Both in my Final Four.
Yes, both in your Final Four, yes. In St. Lawrence losing to Lyons Township, that was a shocker. I announced that one. So both these teams looking to rebound. They have definitely rebounded as they are all the way here at the Consolation semis, but only one can advance.
Absolutely. These are two of the most loaded. This might be the most loaded Consolation game of all time, to be honest with you. Zarek Johnson has it. Dribbling around over to Stratton. Mosley to Rice. Down low, Marquise Peoples, the sophomore blocked, but a charge taken by Josh Abushinov first.
St. Lawrence foul number 23, Marquise Peoples, his first, team's first, Glenbard West basketball out of bounds.
Coach Apoka likes to start with the charge as Ye has it to the corner. TJ Williams will try a three. Off the mark, Glover grabs the rebound. And it will stay here with the Hilltoppers. Running out of time is Ye, and that's a 5-second violation.
Yeah, this is just St. Lawrence pesky defense at its finest. I mean, they're not even able to inbound the ball.
Brad Stratton, who every St. Lawrence game I have announced, there's been a new starting lineup, and once again, switching it up, they're going to bring Stevens off the bench and leave Stratton in the starting lineup. And at the beginning of the tournament, Stratton was coming off the bench, so they like to switch things up.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. Day one, Stratton had a rough performance from three-point land, which is usually his spot, obviously, as we all know, but he's really rebounded from three-point land since then in the last two.
Zarek Johnson over to Stratton. He's going to try a deep three. Got it! Speaking of rebounding, he knocks one down. 3-0 Vikings. Ye over to Oriental. Oriental over to Glover. The Abushinov. The Glenbard North transfer now with that Hilltoppers uniform on. Down low to Ye. Over to Glover, who's going to get fouled by the young sophomore Marquise Peoples. And Coach Roshan Russell is going to send Lindsay into the game here early.
St. Lawrence foul number 23, Marquise Peoples, his second, team second.
Marquise Peoples is just one of those guys that you want to have down low all the time. I mean, already with 2 personals, that's risky. You need to have him. He had an aggressive game down low, having 18 points for St. Lawrence.
Absolutely, as Zarek Johnson comes down the floor and dribbles it off of TJ Williams. Oriental will now lose it out of bounds. But, I mean, for pretty much any other team in the Tosh, I think Lindsay would be a starter. He's one of the better bench players. Him and Stratton, I mentioned in the pregame show, coming off the bench, but now Stevens off the bench. And, you know, St. Lawrence has 7 guys who could start on any team in this tournament.
Definitely one of the most loaded rotations, but Glenbard West actually runs one of the deepest rotations. They went in a 10-man rotation last game.
Got guys like Mike O'Connell, the Northwestern football, coming off the bench, who's 290 pounds. He's got a big frame, too. Other guys, too, like Gasick. As that's going to be a forced turnover, Lindsay will throw it out of bounds. And St. Lawrence really doesn't play more than 7 guys. Oriental taking across half court, making his way down the floor, kicks it, but a foul first.
St. Lawrence foul number 4.
From what I've seen, St. Lawrence really seems to be a second half team. They usually have to start having slow first halves. They were down at 5 against the York Dukes team that hasn't been at their best this year, and they came out and ended up blowing them out by 13 in the second half, but definitely a second half team.
And they went on a huge scoring run in that game. If you remember, York was just never able to respond.
As that one will be knocked out of bounds, and it will belong to the Hilltoppers. Glover down low with the slam! Absolutely electric from Glover.
That's how you want to get your team going. Now, Glenbard West have some momentum now, Christian. Those are your first points. That's how you want to start it.
Zarek Johnson. Over to Mosley. That's a three. Off the mark. Abushinov takes it back out. Zarek Johnson spinning through traffic, missing the easy layup, and Ye has the rebound. Over to Oriental. Abushinov, coast to coast, draws the foul.
And I know Zarek Johnson missed that layup on the other side of the court, but something I mentioned previously is how fancy his footwork is on the inside. He's able to do spin moves, crossovers, collect his step really well. It really helps this team's inside work.
Absolutely. He picked up his 1,000th point against Lamont 2 days ago, Luca. So nice career for Zarek Johnson. As Julian Ye, the point guard, will lay it in. And here comes that swallowing Glenbard West defense. Mosley getting double teamed over to Stratton. Tip ball, but stays here. Mosley, the Purdue Fort Wayne commit, in trouble. Over to Stratton, that's a deep three-pointer, but he knocks it down.
It's 2 for 2 now.
Brad Stratton. Luca, you mentioned how much better he's been since that first game, and you just see it. He's got all of Lawrence's points, 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. Bushinab in traffic. Drives to the cup, lays it up, off the mark. Glover draws the foul and will go to the line for 2, and that's now Lindsay's second foul, so he's got to watch out. And that's the position that sub Peoples out, so who's going to come get him?
At the line to shoot 2 for Glenbard West, number 20, Logan Glover.
First one is off the mark for Glover, and now Stevens, the sophomore, will come pull him out, who started the first 2 games of this tournament. So another reliable option. The 7-man rotation at its finest, as Glover does knock down the second. Johnson over to Mosley. Mosley driving, laying, and connecting. E.J. Mosley.
It's so valuable for this team to have E.J. Mosley back, Christian. I mean, after losing him last year, took a little hiatus from the team. It's so refreshing to have him back.
Absolutely, as Taylor Oriental charges, and we'll have a replay here that on the charge here, Luca, break it down.
Yeah, look at this. That's a great job by Zarek Johnson, collecting his feet, setting his stance, absorbing the contact.
Oriental, one of the running backs in the Glenbard West football team, kind of giving a stiff arm there. Can't do that in basketball. Zarek Johnson now. Over to Jacob Rice, another guy who transferred after a year gone. Mosley laying it up and in. That's why he's a D1 player right there. Doesn't have the biggest frame, but he always finds a way to get the ball and get a good shot up on the hoop every time. Bushinab. Over to Ye. Ye driving to the cup. Swallowed up by the defense. Over to T.J. Williams. Williams accelerates, lays it up and in. T.J. Williams. Nice bucket there.
Here's Coach Apoka's classic 1-3-1 defense. He has his Hilltoppers run.
And Huff looks to check in off the bench, but first a 3 from Stratton. Tip. Jay Rice there for the board. He misses. Ye over to Abushinab. Abushinab. Over to T.J. Williams. Finds Ye. Oriental down low to Abushinab. Abushinab spinning. And a blocking foul on Stevens. So now that small forward position starting to get really thin for St. Lawrence. They need to watch out with the fouls, as Stevens is the only guy left for that position, with Lindsay and Peoples having the other four, excuse me. I would say they would usually play Sean Rice, the younger brother of Jacob Rice, but he doesn't look to be in uniform tonight with glasses on and street clothes. Seems to be hurt.
That's a huge loss.
And that's another guy who can play that position, because Bushinab does knock both down.
And like we said, I mean, they like to run a shorter rotation here at St. Lawrence, and that's one of your key guys off the bench. That shortens their rotation. Maybe do only a 6-man rotation. I mean, we'll see if they play anyone else, but that's what it's looking like.
Not looking good for the Vikings right now when it comes to fouls. And O'Connell checks in. Look at that frame. Mosley down low to Zarek Johnson. Uses his body so well and finishes through contact. So 12-9, a minute and 50 seconds remaining here in this first quarter. TJ Williams will try a three. It's off the mark. It belongs to the Vikings. Now checking in, Dominic Shanny. Johnson over to Stratton. Over to Mosley. Mosley over to Stevens. Stevens spinning, kicks it back. Mosley, a triple. Got it, plus the foul. E.J. Mosley. What a shot.
I mean, that's what's going to happen when you're running that 1-3-1, Christian. You're going to keep shifting. Look at this. They shift right there, but they leave an open man up top. That's what you're going to have to pay when you're running that type of 1-3-1.
He does complete the 4-point play, so a 7-point lead here, commanding lead early here for St. Lawrence. Down low to O'Connell, the big man. Picked off by Mosley. Here comes his speed. Down the floor, lays it up and in. E.J. Mosley takeover on display.
Look at how quick he is going coast to coast there.
Absolutely, and with that, we're gonna step aside, 18-9. Here's some replays during the timeout. You're back from the short timeout. Glenbard West find themselves down 9 early here, commanding lead. Here's a 3-ball knocked down for number 25. Ashton Flowers.
That's how you want to come out of the huddle, Christian.
Nice looking shot and absolutely a great play call from Apoka. Probably drew that up coming out of the timeout. 3-second difference between shot and game clock. They find Jacob Rice. What a pass from E.J. Mosley. Coach Apoka calling a play here. It's a double screen. Down low to O'Connell. He's got a mismatch. Spinning, floating, and missing. That's going to go off of St. Lawrence. So 2.5 seconds to get a shot off here. Let's see what they go to. Maybe a potential lob for O'Connell. They get it in. Shawnee at the buzzer. It's an air ball, 20-12. St. Lawrence leads.
I honestly think what the biggest problem for Glenbard West right now and why they're trailing is because they're not doing a good enough job locking down St. Lawrence's backcourt in E.J. Mosley and Brad Stratton. That's the main problem right now. And like I was saying, that's kind of what's going to happen when you're trying to guard on that 1-3-1. When you're trapping in the corner, it's going to leave those two wide open up top. And we know those are two proven three-point shooters. Hence right here.
20-12 is your score. We're going to step aside for a short break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching New York Sports Network. Hello everyone and welcome back from the short break. It's 20-12. Glenbard West trailing early and St. Lawrence rebounding from their early loss in this tournament. They dropped to the number 21 ranked team in the state after losing. They were at 10 before that. The ranking dropped today. 11 spots. And they get an offensive foul here on Taylor Oriental, and that's his second, so he's got to be careful.
That is not a guy you want to lose.
You know, nothing really seems to be going the Vikings' way, yet they're still up 8 when it comes to fouls. So Glenbard West not being able to put points on the board right now as Stevens knocks down a 3 with arguably two of their best players on the bench is just not a great sign for the Hilltoppers. Abushina, pull up Jay, got it. So 23-14. Zarek Johnson blocked by O'Connell in transition. Abushinab backing his man down. Over to Ye. Oriental. Abushinab dumps it off O'Connell. Nice move and a nice finish.
It's a tough duo to guard down low, O'Connell and Abushinab. There's not much you can do.
Over to Stratton. Stratton back to Mosley. Mosley, a triple. Got it! From way downtown, E.J. Mosley connects.
He is really feeling it. This game has his fingerprints all over him thus far.
26-16 is the score. Abushinab spinning his way through traffic. Laying it up, no good. Second chance effort is good. 26-18. Stratton back to Mosley. Another triple off the mark. Oriental in transition. Driving, floating, gets fouled. He'll go to the line for 2.
St. Lawrence foul number 5, E.J. Mosley, his first, team's first. Headline to Cooper Glenbard West, 11, Tian Oriental.
Oriental does knock down the first. Luca, break this play down for Mosley.
Yeah, I mean, you can't leave him open from anywhere. He could shoot from so long. And, I mean, you saw that last 3 he took. If I'm Coach Russell, I'm not mad with him taking that shot. I mean, when he's feeling himself like that, when he has as many points as he does, I mean, he's already up to 13. There's no reason to be upset with that. That's not a bad shot.
Absolutely. I remember when we talked to him in the pregame show, he mentioned that, you know, he likes the team, the offense, the way they run it, but he does trust Mosley every shot he takes. He knows that he can score, and he's okay with him being a little selfish sometimes, as every good scorer should be. As Johnson draws the foul, and he will head to the line for 2.
Glenbard West foul number 11, Tian Oriental, his third, team's second.
Oriental now with 3 fouls. They're going to have to check him out. So Flowers will most likely come pull him out. So Flowers will come in, so will Drew Gasick. And Ye will check out as well. So, Luca, you mentioned this deep rotation that they're playing. They are getting into it right now, the Hilltoppers. Flowers going to work on Stevens. McGasick. TJ Williams. Williams over to Abushinab. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Floating. Connecting. Josh Abushinab is really starting to feel himself.
He's ready on the other end.
Stratton in trouble. Over to Mosley. Zarek Johnson. And a charge taken by Glover.
Back in the game for Glenbard West, 21 right side. Back in for St. Lawrence, 23 Marquise Peoples.
27-21 is your score. 4 minutes and 40 seconds remain here in the first half as Flowers hits it over to Glover. Gasick has it. Down low. Glover posting up on Jacob Rice. Floating off the mark. Jacob Rice now. Over to Stevens. Back to Rice. Down low to Stratton. Thought about the 3. He's just going to swing it around to Stevens. Stevens, a triple of his own. Off the mark. Peoples back in there. The sophomore laying it up and in with his right hand. The lefty makes a nice move to the cup. (29-21). Flowers laying it up and in.
He's got 5 now.
Mosley with the spin move. Stevens, down low to Peoples. Off of Stratton, and it belongs to the Hilltoppers.
And they got all the momentum right now, Christian. Great 3 sequences here on offense. And now they have another chance here.
And Noah Coro's in. I used to play AAU basketball with Noah Coro. He used to go to Elmwood Park High School. I guess he's transferred to St. Lawrence now. Great player. He handles the ball very well, and now getting some fresh time for St. Lawrence. Down low. Off the mark and Jacob Rice. Over to Coro. To Stevens. Mosley over to Coro. Stratton. Stevens. Turns it over. And a foul.
If you saw that defensive possession right there, Christian, look at how they were guarding E.J. Mosley so far out, so far outside from the three-point line, because that's where he's been hitting his shots. That's where he's been hitting his three-point shots.
Absolutely. Flowers up top, matched up with the freshman. Similar size between those two. That should be an interesting matchup to keep our eyes on as he dumps it off to Abushinab. Swing pass, three ball, air ball. Mosley. To Stevens, and a timeout taken by Coach Roshan Russell.
They got to find out how to slow him down, Christian. Their lead is dwindling right now.
It is indeed, and foul is certainly not helping. 29-23, 2 minutes and 17 seconds remain. Don't go anywhere. More action coming your way. They get it in, and Mosley has it up top. Over to Stratton. Back to Mosley. Over to Coro. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Brad Stratton up top. Mosley to Coro. A triple. But a foul first.
Glenbard West foul number 25, Ashton Flowers, his first, team's third. St. Lawrence basketball out.
They dump it off to Rice. Over to Coro. A triple. Off the mark for Noah Coro. Bushinab in transition now. Looking to push. Going to work on Stratton. Zips it. Williams. A triple. Off the mark. Great box out by Rice. And a charge taken by Julian Ye.
Great job there, setting his feet down right in the lane. Look at this.
Here's the charge.
Yeah, feet set right there. I don't think he was even ready for him to collide with him.
Brad Stratton on Flowers up top. Glover going to work. The ball is stripped. One minute and 20 seconds remaining here in the first half. Glover has it up top. Flowers Stratton on him. Flowers spinning. Back to Glover, 9 seconds on the shot clock, and that's a travel.
Double dribble, St. Lawrence basketball out of bounds.
So St. Lawrence having to dig into their bench,
In the game for Glenbard West.
relying on some guys like Noah Coro and now Logan Brown, another freshman, so a younger lineup in here. Stevens over to Mosley. Down low to Brown. Brown loses it. Over to Coro. How about a three? Off the mark. Abushinab rises, connects. Josh Abushinab, 10 points.
Good job shaking off his defender there.
So Josh Abushinab, one of those guys where your team isn't playing too well, he can go for 20 to 30 in a game, but he plays within himself and likes to share the sugar. Shot clock, or game clock at 10. Stolen, Abushinab. But a foul on Josh.
Nice pull up, Jay. Creates separation, pulls up mid-range. He can work inside, too. That's the best part about his game.
Now here he is at the line. This guy single-handedly willing his team back into this ball game and has a chance to cut this down to a one-possession game. First one's off the mark. The two freshmen will check out for Laurence, and Glover will check out for the Hilltoppers. The second one for Abushinab is up and through, so a one-possession ball game. Mosley has it. 7 seconds on the clock. 5 seconds. Over to Stevens. 2 seconds. To Stratton. No shot. 29-26, and the Hilltoppers have stormed their way back into this ball game.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to watch for sure. Great job coming out of that timeout by Glenbard West, just creating a lot of problems here for St. Lawrence that they're going to have to solve if they want to stay in the lead of this game. They still do have a 3-point lead, but that's not a lot to hold on to. And we know Glenbard West can come back in a situation like this.
Absolutely, Luca. 29-26 is your score. We'll take it to the finals on the line. Don't go anywhere. More action in 10 minutes.
The third place game at 1:30, followed by the championship game at 3. All games will be here in the Campbell Gym, and all tickets are $5 at the door. Also, the all-tournament team, the all-Tosh tournament team will be announced at the conclusion of the championship game. All athletes and families are invited to that recognition tomorrow. I'd like to take a quick thank you to all of our sponsors of the Jack Tosh Holiday Classic. Breakaway Basketball, Byline Bank, Cameo Dental, Chicago Super
Hello, everyone, and welcome back from halftime, where Glenbard West and Josh Abuchinov have willed themselves back into this ball game. They were down a good amount for a minute, but let's look at some of these clips from Abuchinov. Luca, break them down.
Yeah, I mean, he just had an incredible half. I mean, great for the mid-range area. He's been great down low as well. I think that's been the biggest thing. You know, he's just been such a crucial addition to this team.
An early steal and a slam from T.J. Williams.
That's a way to start the half.
You're not missing anything. In the South Gym, York High School was down 3 with 3 seconds left, where Connor Fitzgerald hit a 3 to put the game into overtime. And they are now up 1 with a minute left. Brad Stratton, a 3, off the mark. Jacob Rice, stolen. Oriental. He's gonna slow it down. Over to Josh Abuchinov. Back to Glover. Oriental lays it up and in, and the Hilltoppers have the lead.
They're coming out of the gate as aggressive as possible.
St. Laurence has got their starting 5 back in there. Not having to worry about fouls yet. Zarek Johnson over to Brad Stratton. A deep triple. Got it! Zarek Johnson answers.
That's exactly how you want to respond. Shut him down a bit.
(32-30). Abuchinov rises off the mark. Peoples grabs the rebound. Zarek Johnson over to Mosley. Back to Johnson. Maneuvering his way through the middle. Stratton, a triple. Got it! Brad Stratton, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc tonight.
It's just a back and forth battle starting off this second half.
Williams gets whistled for the travel. Luca, we got an update on the York Highland Park game.
It is tied 59-59 with 24.3 seconds to go. York's ball, they're in timeout, they call timeout, but they can hold for final possession here, potential game winner.
And boy, has Brad Stratton been a force to be reckoned with for St. Laurence tonight. What a weapon. He's a 3-and-D guy. He always guards the point guard. He's guarding T.J. Williams. He's held T.J. to 4 points. He's got 9 of his own. With that, we're going to step aside. 35-30, 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Hello, everyone, and welcome back from the short break. 35-30, St. Laurence ball. They have the lead. Johnson. Over to Stratton. Back to Johnson. Mosley swings it. Rice driving, missing. Second chance effort, trying to draw the foul. He doesn't get it. Oriental Over to TJ Williams. Yay. Tries to make a play, but he turns it over. In Highland Park, they're up 60-59 with a second left and a free throw. Motion at the line, he does knock down both. So York has 1 second to get a basket. And Eddie Sika throws it off the backboard. And that's going to cost York the ball game. A three, ooh. Bang! Brad Stratton, of course, from way downtown in the corner. Abushanab going to work. TJ Williams. He's lost his footing since that first quarter. They need to get him going. O'Connell will come screen Abushanab. Rises off the mark. Zarek Johnson in transition all the way to the cup. Lays it in. 10-point lead for the Vikings.
Timeout called here by Glenbard West. They got to talk things over.
They do, and so will we. 40-30, St. Lawrence up 10. 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the third quarter. More action on the way. Unbelievable. We're back from the break. 40-30 is your score here in the main gym. O'Connell over to Shawnee. Flowers working on Zarek Johnson. Over to Abushanab. Back to TJ Williams. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Williams trying to shake off Stratton. The shot off the mark. Mosley loses it but gets it back in a push on Shawnee, and St. Lawrence will have the ball.
Glenbard West foul number 12, Dominic Shanny, his first, team's first. St. Louis basketball out of bounds.
Zarek Johnson pushing up the floor. Johnson down low to Rice, but a timeout called by Coach Roshawn Russell first. And we're going to take a break here. Coach Roshawn Russell and his squad talk something over. Maybe they draw up a play coming out of here. They get it down low to Peoples. He's going to attack it. St. Lawrence doesn't play like your traditional high school basketball team, Luca, do they? They're more of an AAU style ISO.
Absolutely, for sure. A heavy isolation team, offensive-minded team. You'd think it's an offensive-minded team, honestly. It's just an isolation team, but they do a great job on the defensive end, and they're really able to control the pace of their opponents, to control the pace that they're playing at, and they've been able to slow down Glenbard West.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of guys who play ISO ball end up making it to the next level, and you know, that's a strive of success usually. It's good to learn how to play within a team's offense, but you're going to have to be able to score as an own player for your team in late game situations, as Peoples does knock down both. So there's perks to playing both styles of basketball for sure. Flowers and the Hilltoppers need an answer. Who will they go to? TJ Williams has been very quiet since that first quarter, as Mosley with the steal. It goes out of bounds. The old coach of St. Lawrence signs with the Windy City Bulls, so Coach Roshan Russell comes in as first year and has his Vikings ranked 21st in the state, and they start to his coaching career as a Viking. Gasick will try a three, off the mark. Glover with the foul. 10-point ball game.
It was a great job by Glover there, rising right up. And it looked like he was shooting on a kid's hoop.
Stratton will try a three. It's off the mark. And a foul on Josh Abushinab.
Glenbard West foul number 10, Josh Abushinab, his second, team's third. Back in the game for Glenbard West, 21 for nice top.
Mosley inbounds it to Stratton. The double team. Johnson back to Stratton. Corner three. Mosley off the mark. Peoples with the foul. No good. Rice, third time's the charm, and he draws the foul.
That's just a breakdown there.
Glenbard West foul number 25.
Wow, that many rebounds.
At the line to shoot 2, 25, Jacob Rice.
Jacob Rice, he's had a quieter Tosh. He's been the impact player for this team all year. Him and Mosley both started there, their freshman and sophomore year. They transferred to Romeoville, and they come back together as well. It's 43-32, and an 11-point lead for the Vikings. He does miss the second. Flowers working on Stratton, down low to Glover. Glover using his feet and gets the foul, so he will go to the line for two.
I think Glover's the perfect person to have the ball in the hands of right now if you're Glenbard West. He's able to get down low. He's been very aggressive thus far.
First one for Glover is off the mark. Every point becoming crucial for the Hilltoppers right now. Stevens will check in for Jacob Rice.
Back in for St. Lawrence, number 3, Reggie Stevens.
St. Lawrence is starting to climb out of their slump. Their mid-season slump, I should say, after starting so well. Peoples over to Mosley. Mosley double teamed. He's going to throw that off of Gasick's foot.
Now a minute and a half left here in the third quarter.
Coach Apoka looking at his play sheet, may need to switch some things up, making a few adjustments possibly. Mosley, back to Johnson. Johnson is going to travel. Coach Apoka looking for an answer still. Down 11. Need to find a hole in the St. Lawrence defense, something they can take advantage of. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Flowers going to work. Spinning. Kicks it. Gasick lines up a three. Off the mark. Glover will grab the board. Glover squares his feet and lays it in.
They need to find an answer for him.
And a foul on, still don't know who this was on. TJ Williams.
It's a nice move there. Like I said, he's the guy you want the ball in the hands of right now to mount this comeback. But I think where this comeback really needs to start is slowing down this St. Lawrence team on offense right now. And I feel like they've done a pretty good job of that in the end here, as they've, you know, gotten them to slow down, especially down low in the paint where they've been the most unanswered.
So St. Lawrence goes 0 for 2 from the stripe there. And Glenbard West, this is a chance, down 9. 1 second difference between shot and game clock, so they can practically just hold here for the last shot. Oriental. Down low to Glover. 10 seconds, they gotta go. Oriental driving, floating, but Glover's there! Uses his shot as an alley-oop. Johnson now, losing it. Oriental the heave. Way short, 36-43, and Glenbard West starting to come back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's been some great offensive plays here. It's been coming from Glover especially, though. And again, that's just how you want to keep your team going at the hands of him.
Absolutely, and with that, we're going to step aside. 43-36 is your score. Eight minutes remain and a comeback needed. Oriental over to Glover. Oriental dishes it down low. Glover spinning through traffic. Can't get the roll. Peoples grabs the rebound. He's been quiet. Spinning, laying, connecting. Marquise Peoples.
And that's the Peoples we saw in his game 2 days ago against Lamont, where he was just a force down low.
He was absolutely, Luca. And Peoples, or excuse me, Glovers gets fouled. And they changed the call to a travel. And coming up next, we got a matchup between the Metamora Redbirds and Bolingbrook Raiders, the championship from last year. And Luca, I know you like the Raiders there, but what are you thinking here for the matchup? What do the Metamora Redbirds have to do to pull up the upset, and what do you think the Raiders have to do to assert their dominance, the key to success for both teams?
Well, honestly, I think Metamora is doing much better than they were in the beginning of the tournament, obviously, with 2 almost losses. They really showed off against Rolling Meadows on Saturday, and, you know, have shown that they're rebounding. They can beat a good team, a really good team in Rolling Meadows, beating the #1 ranked player in Illinois, Ian Militich. So I think that, you know, they kind of have a bit of momentum back. It's going to be hard to stop the Raiders, though, obviously. So I just think the matchup is going to be Zobrist versus Thompson, and then down low it's going to be Funk and JT Pettigrew. Those are two great matchups to watch. And those are the guys that you have to tap into if you're either team.
Absolutely. Connor, Choi, and myself will be on the call, and I believe that is at 6:30?
Correct.
So 23 minutes away from tip-off there. And I can tell you that there will not be one seat empty in this place after how close that championship game came down to the last shot last year. Oriental will split a pair at the line. Zarek Johnson kicking. Stratton wanted the three. Finds Mosley. Back to Stratton. Over to Zarek Johnson. Three ball. Mosley off the mark. Batted away. But to Taylor Oriental. Oriental driving. Over to Williams, who's just going to pull it out. Very uncharacteristic of Williams. Here comes Ye attacking Johnson. Oriental pushing off. Down low, Williams laying it up and in. 6-point ball game. What a find from Tayden Oriental. Zarek Johnson to Stratton.
Glenbard West foul number 14, Julian Ye is first. He's first. Back into the game for the Hilltoppers, 45, Mike O'Connell.
Mike O'Connell to check back in for St. Laurence. For Glenbard West, excuse me. It's Oriental with the steal. Oriental slowing down. Blocked by Rice. Here comes Peoples. And a charge taken by Julian Ye.
2 turnovers there, 1 from each team. That is a crazy sequence right there.
St. Lawrence foul on number 23, Marquise Peoples, his third, team second. Glenbard West basketball out of bounds.
Five and a half minutes to go now. Oriental taking it up. Drops it down low to O'Connell. O'Connell pushing off. Got the 2 to go. 4-point game.
45-41. Mosley and the Vikings looking for an answer. And Coach Roshan Russell is forced to call a timeout.
This is a complete meltdown here from St. Lawrence.
It is so tale of two halves. Watch O'Connell. Well, first the charge by Julian Ye.
Just a good job absorbing contact. I mean, there's not much to it.
And we're going to step aside. 45-41, your score. (45-41), 5 minutes and 11 seconds remain. Marquise Peoples, the young sophomore, with 3 fouls. He's got to be careful. Same with Zarek Johnson. He's got 1,000 points in his career as a Viking. So 2 guys that are key. Glenbard West Hilltoppers still find themselves in this game. A ticket to the finals on the line. Should have stayed tuned for this end. Mosley, back to Johnson. Stolen, Julian Ye. Turning, pump faking, gets blocked, but no, a foul. And the Hilltoppers not going anywhere, Luca.
Foul number 5, E.J. Mosley, his second, team's third.
He's 1-3-1. I mean, as long as they're not getting trapped in the corner, as long as they're not trapping in the corner, there's going to be no fault with it, especially when they're guarding up top. When they're starting to guard up top, when you're guarding Stratton, and you're guarding Mosley up top without the ball in the corner, then this is the best defense possible.
Absolutely, as Ye does knock down the first. And the second is through. Julian Ye steps up, knocks both of them down. And the Hilltoppers got Glenbard West. The Hilltoppers got St. Laurence right where they want them. A 2-point game. No momentum. Mosley over to Stevens. Back to Mosley.
Look at it right here. They can't answer up top.
TJ Williams using his hops to his advantage. Spinning, laying, got it. 45 all. TJ Williams finally gets back on the board. And the Hilltoppers loving it. Reggie Stevens. Over to Brad Stratton. Back to Stevens. Luca, they are struggling to break this. Stolen and out of bounds, but saved. Mike O'Connell's got it. Taylor Oriental has it now. Driving, trying to get a shot off and just not the shot.
He's looking for a foul there, if anything, I think.
And E.J. Mosley over to Rice. Back to Mosley. Rice, Stratton, a three. Got it! The dagger from Brad Stratton.
And that's who you want to tap into right now, Brad Stratton. He's up to 15 now.
All 15 from beyond the arc, 5 triples. 3 minutes remain. Abushinab. Reggie Stevens on him. Mike O'Connell down low, double team, spinning. TJ Williams, the second chance effort.
This gym is getting loud, Christian.
It is, and when the main gym gets loud, that's very rare. That means it's a big crowd in here. The South gym is more prone to get loud.
It's a combination, seats filling up, obviously, for this game, and then for the next slate of games in here with championship semifinals after this.
So 48-47, Vikings ball. E.J. Mosley and Jacob Rice. Who do they go to? Back to Mosley. Over to Stevens. Mosley facilitating. Stevens, a triple. Got it! Reggie Stevens gets his first points of the game when they need it the most.
Makes it a 2-possession game now, too.
Glover screening on Oriental. Back to Ye. Down low to Glover. Oriental pump fakes. Dumps it back off. Glover. Can't get it. Jacob Rice with some nice defense. Rice being trapped. It's stolen. Here comes Oriental in transition. Yay, a triple. Off the mark. With E.J. Mosley and the Vikings with 1:30 left, leading by 4. It's kicked off of Yay. There you go, Luca.
Thank you.
Getting your arms in the action there.
The problem right now with Glenbard West is they're responding on defense. I mean, they just got that last stop, but the problem is they're not responding on offense, so you're not cutting into that lead. You're slowing down that lead, but you're not cutting into it.
Stratton, another triple. Got it! Brad Stratton, have yourself a night. 6 threes and a 7-point lead. Desperation time for the Hilltoppers. Oriental going to work, gets it, plus the foul, that's huge.
That's exactly what you need right now. They're not really able to tap into their perimeter shooting, but you got to cut into that lead. You need to get 3 points somehow, and that's the only other way. Let's look at that again. He's able to collect his step, draw the contact.
The running back going to work, using the stiff arm to his advantage that time. This is a big free throw. Be interesting to see if he does miss, if they can get the rebound and score. Or if he'll just play for the make. Still a good amount of time left, and they will play for the make. So 50-54, and TJ Williams will check out. They're going to put Flowers in for defensive reasons on Stevens. Ye guarding Stratton. Mosley guarded by Abushinab. They can't hold for the last shot. Shot clock in full effect. Reggie Stevens. Over to Mosley. Mosley. In a charge, taken by Julian Ye. That's his second taken, and that's why he's in.
That was only 20 seconds off the clock there, so you still have 39.8 seconds to, try and fit in at least 2 possessions here. It's still a 2-possession game, so it's going to be hard, but this is the possession right here.
Unbelievable. Oriental going to work. Over to Bushinab. Rises, a triple, off the mark. They got a foul, and they will. Zarek Johnson. They still have 3 more to give, though, so that's not going anywhere anytime soon.
We're going to have to try and get these as quick as possible.
Coach Roshan Russell wants to talk things over. 54-50, we're going to step aside. More action coming your way.
Full 60-second timeout for the Vikings.
The Brad Stratton takeover. Let's look at all these threes from him. He can just shoot over anyone he wants, Luca.
Absolutely. I mean, this game has his fingerprints written all over it.
St. Lawrence trying to bring home the Consolation title just like they did 2 years ago. And they're going to foul E.J. Mosley.
That's honestly what you want to do ideally. Foul before they get the inbound off. You're wasting no clock then.
You just got to make sure it's not intentional. So it's not a tech. And they do foul right away. They'll send the young sophomore to the line, so maybe not the worst person to send based off of pressure terms, but Stevens is a great shooter, but they still need 1 more to give. So he will not go to the line yet. Mosley has it, and they're going to foul him. Not the guy you want at the line.
Absolutely not. This will still stay a 2-possession game, even if he makes both these free throws.
We've seen St. Lawrence struggle to close out games before. They almost gave Lamont a chance a few days ago. Coach Roshan Russell had to spend a bunch of unneeded timeouts because of that. So This game is nowhere near close to over. 23 seconds remain.
In that LT game, the name of their downfall was rebounding. They could not rebound at the end of the game. Obviously, there's a missed free throw right there. Obviously, with LT being a bigger team.
And Mosley does miss the first. Very uncharacteristic out of him. The second one from him is in. Not horrible for Glenbard West. A 3 would be ideal, but a 2 works as well. And here comes Oriental. Who's he looking for? Spinning around himself, can't finish. And Rice grabs the rebound, so he will head to the line. With a chance to put the final nail in the coffin.
Can make it a 3-possession game if he makes 2.
Glenbard West foul number 20, Logan Glover, his first team penalty.
You were asking who Oriental was going to give it to. He decided to take it himself. I mean, that's rough to do there when you're being triple teamed down low.
Almost got the roll, but just not enough. Jacob Rice, a chance to put this game away, and St. Laurence a ticket to the final where they would take on the Mustangs of Downers Grove South.
We got TJ Williams in the backcourt right now.
They throw it to Oriental. It's going to call a timeout. And win or lose, Glenbard West came in here and played the number 21 ranked team in the state pretty tight. So Coach Apoka's got to be pretty happy with this squad.
Absolutely. I mean, this was a dog fight to the end, Christian. And they took the lead here a couple times. They cut it to 4 in crunch time. This was really an impressive game from Glenbard West. I really didn't expect this much from them, but you know, St. Laurence kind of slowed down in the second half, and you did say they were more of a second half team. I feel like honestly, this is again going back to the Lions Township game. They got too relaxed in the first half. I feel like St. Laurence could have a bigger lead right now, but I feel like they're getting too relaxed in the first half of these games, just like they did against Lions Township. They were faltering too much against Lions Township, and that's what would lead to their loss here. It doesn't look like they're going to lose here. It's a 3-possession game with 10.4 seconds remaining, but maybe they could have had a bigger win here and more security.
Absolutely, Luca, and you're talking about 2 different kinds of St. Lawrence teams. One's that looks like a Final Four team and one that looks like a Consolation winner team. I mean, they beat LT. They got a pretty easy path to the final. Glover lays it up and gets fouled, so he'll head to the line for 2.
And this has been a pretty good game for Glover, I will say. He's been getting a lot of putbacks down low. He's been working pretty well, getting a lot of boards.
Josh Abushinab. Quiet second half, Luca.
For sure. I mean, he was very, very, very powerful in that first half, and it's just all gone downhill.
It's not enough to get it done for this team. I wonder if they play for the miss here. No, they won't. But he will miss. And they foul.
That one free throw, though, that does bring it back to a 2-possession game.
It does. Coach Apoka does have a timeout here, so if he does happen to miss both, it's a good chance he will spend it. Only thing is it doesn't advance the ball to the NBA. And Jay Rice knocks down the first, and this second one will be the final nail in the coffin. 58-51. Jacob Rice, the second, is in. And that's going to do it. St. Laurence, as TJ Williams hoists one, will advance to the Consolation Championship, where they will take on the Downers Grove South Mustangs. And that is going to be one heck of a matchup. 59-51 is your final. We got a post-game interview coming up with Luca DeSanto, who has left me by myself. So we'll let him get to it. I've been Christian McQuade. Make sure to stay tuned in. Metamora, Bolingbrook next up.